President Donald Trump has pardoned Binance founder Changpeng Zhao, and it does appear that the president's own financial interests spurred the decision in the first place. So according to the Wall Street Journal, a pardon will likely pave the way for Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, to return to the United States after the company pleaded guilty in 2023 to violating US anti-money laundering requirements and was barred from operating in the country. Now, the Justice Department imposed a record $4.3 billion fine and burdensome oversight on Binance, which the department said had become a colossal money laundering hub through which sanctioned groups and criminal organizations laundered billions of dollars in illicit funds. So this pardon may essentially permanently end the Justice Department's 3-year monitorship of Binance. And that was set up to essentially ensure that the company complies with US financial crime laws. So this pardon could make that go away entirely. But there is a separate monitorship being carried out by the Treasury Department that will likely remain intact, although it remains to be seen if that's true. We'll see how that plays out because Trump could decide to just end that. But here's the most important part. Why is Donald Trump pardoning him? What's going on here? Well, Binance has spent nearly a year pursuing a pardon for Zhao, who left prison in September. He served about 4 months, a 4-month sentence for related charges to the money laundering issues. Earlier this year, the company hired a lobbyist by the name of Chess McDowell to help pursue a pardon. And Zhao has also been making some significant efforts to boost the Trump family's crypto company. I think that has a lot to do with this pardon decision. Since Trump's election, Binance has been a key supporter of his family's World Liberty financial crypto venture, a business that has driven a huge leap in the president's personal wealth. In fact, this is probably the most shocking part of this entire story. But apparently World Liberty has generated significantly more income for the Trump family in the past year than their property portfolio has annually. Isn't that crazy?
No, it's the most obvious thing in the world to me. And partly because I've told you all along, he can't make money if his life depended on it, right? And so he's been bungling through about $800 million, $400 million he got from his dad, and then $400 million he got from his second dad, Jeff Zucker, who had him host The Apprentice. And he's been burning through that money through 6 bankruptcies, etc. But when they set up the crypto scam, I was like, oh, for F's sake. So now he's gonna become a billionaire just through corruption. And
totally.
That's exactly.
And by the way,
and to be fair to Trump, that is what he's really good at.
Let me give you one more detail here. So apparently Binance has delivered World Liberty's first big break this spring when it accepted a $2 billion investment from an outside investor paid in USD1. Binance has also incentivized trading in USD1 across platforms it controls. So clearly, there are some very real favors being made for Trump, helping him essentially, him and his family members to profit off of this. And the added layer to it is the fact that Zhao is also very close, apparently they're buddies, with World Liberty's co-founder, Zach Witkoff. I'm sure that last name sounds familiar because it's actually run by Steve Witkoff's son, Zach. And in addition to that, the Wall Street Journal reported earlier that Binance first reached out to Trump allies last year, essentially offering to strike a business deal with the family as part of a plan to return the company to the United States. Because remember, due to that money laundering case, they weren't allowed to operate in the United States. So not only do they want Zhao to be released, on top of that, they want to be able to operate in the US, and representatives of the Trump family have in fact held some talks to take a financial stake in the US arm of Binance. It's just such an incredible story, Cenk.
Yeah, so the Justice Department basically that was had gone after Binance had overwhelming evidence. That's why this gentleman here, Zhao, pled guilty. So he definitely did it. And so what did they do? So they were helping shadowy figures, criminals, potentially terrorists, finance their operations, and they were helping them money launder. And our government described those illicit transactions happening through Binance as causing, quote, significant harm to US national security interests. Significant harm. But they are not terrorists, and they get a pardon, and they're free to do business as long as they're funneling money to Trump's enterprises. But if you write an op-ed against Israel, terrorist. You do a pro-Palestine protest, terrorist. You do any kind of protest these days that the American government or Palantir or Larry Ellison doesn't like, terrorist. You actually help money launder for some of the worst people in the world that significantly harms our national security. Oh, you gave funneled money to Donald Trump's crypto scam. You're free to go.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. But it's important to also provide what the Trump administration has to say about this. For instance, Trump recently indicated to advisors that he was sympathetic to arguments of political persecution related to Zhao and others.
Sure.
Because Trump he's well known. He's actually known worldwide for being concerned about, political persecution and wanting to help people who have been victimized by that. Has nothing to do with the family's crypto business.
Yeah, no, because he's saying like people who are political enemies and targeted by a president like Letitia James and James Comey and others, his heart breaks for them. That's why he's so concerned about political persecution. Oh, you're funneling $2 billion through my operation, so I'm gonna get to keep a giant chunk of that. And by the way, after I pardon you, you're gonna do new deals with, again, honestly, his meme coin is nothing but a scam, right? The coin that they're using here, or the currency that they're using here for the $2 billion Binance deal is a little bit different. It's pegged to the US dollar, but nevertheless, once you funnel it through Trump's organization, he keeps a percentage. So that's why they're making ungodly sums here. They're basically just selling off the US government. You want a pardon that, that'll cost you, and it's not gonna go to the taxpayers. They were supposed to pay a huge fine. George Santos is supposed to pay a huge fine. I don't know if all these guys who are getting pardoned from white collar crime are gonna actually do any restitution for the people that they robbed or to the US taxpayers, but don't worry, Donald Trump is getting paid. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.